You can see the peak temperature right there hit 90 degrees. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Ed Gasket. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Ed, and today on this episode, I'm going to show you how to convert your cold, uncomfortable workspace into a much more enjoyable place to work on your projects. Now, judging by the thermometer in the workshop, you can see it's only 52 degrees, which really isn't that cold. But we're only in the beginning of our winter season here, and temperatures will descend further. So before it's too cold and uncomfortable to get anything done in our workshop, let's invest just a little bit of time and energy to make this space much more enjoyable to be in. Now, inside of this cardboard box is hopefully the answer to our issue. So what do you say? Get this thing open. I'll show you how it's going to fix our problem so you can fix yours. Electric heat is super efficient, which means most of the energy that goes into the heater exits in the form of heat. Compare that to a combustion style heater like kerosene, natural gas, diesel, or propane, where the byproducts are often heat. They are also carbon monoxide and moisture. And carbon monoxide, of course, can kill you, and moisture can land on your tools and cause rust. So electric heat is absolutely the answer in this garage setting. So you can see we're over at the electrical panel, and what we're going to do is remove this drywall panel so I can see all the wiring that's headed up into the attic. We're likely going to add one more wire up into the attic, and then we'll go up there, retrieve that wire, and then poke it down through the drywall at the exact location where we want to hang our heater. So the goal here is to have a wire connected in that electrical panel that goes up through the ceiling into the attic and all the way over to the place where we're going to mount our heater. All right guys, before we go up in the attic, I'm going to hang the bracket that our heater will hang from. This way, when I hang it on the ceiling, I know exactly where to drill the hole through the drywall ceiling for the wire to run through. So then when we go upstairs and grab the wire from the electrical panel, we'll run it all the way across the ceiling and poke it down through the hole right next to this bracket. So let's get this thing hung up in the ceiling and then we'll head up in the attic. All right guys, now that we mounted our heater and drilled that hole up next to it, let's go up in the attic and fish one end of our wire down through that hole, and then we'll take the other end of the wire and fish it all the way over to our electrical panel where that fish tape is waiting for us. All right guys, I changed my clothes and I brought a mask because it is nasty up here. So let's head over to the corner of the building, find that electrical panel, feed some wire down into the garage, and hook up that heater. All right guys, we got to climb through that hole. That actually gets us into the attic of the garage. Right now we're over the main house. So back in that far right corner is the electrical panel, and let's go find it. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the garage. All right guys, if I look over there, you can see that wire way out there. I think that's the wire to the air compressor, which means we're right in the neighborhood where we need to be. I drilled a hole in the ceiling right around here, and that's where that heater's screwed to the ceiling right now. So let's crawl over there and try and find the hole so we can fish some of this wire down into it. This garage better be so warm. Man, all right. I I got the wire down through the ceiling where we drilled the hole. Now I'm gonna take the other end of the wire and feed it down into the electrical panel. Just gotta find that fish wire that we put up through the ceiling about a half hour ago. Man, this is crazy. All right, guys, way back there is the electrical panel. That's where we want our wire to go down into. This fishing wire right here worked perfectly, so I'll grab this, tape the end of it to our wire, and pull it back down through the panel. So here's the fishing wire. Here's our 10 gauge wire for the heater. I'll tape them together like this, and then pull this one back that direction into the panel. Is this the right way to do this? Any electricians out there? So hopefully that fits down through all the nooks and crannies that it needs to in order to get it back into the garage, and I can put it into the panel from there. Let's get the heck out of here. Okay, so hopefully what we have is wire coming through the hole next to the heater, check. And ideally over by the panel, we have our fish tape still there, yep. And when we pull that fish tape back through, our 10 gauge wire should be on the other end of it. Uh-oh. Damn. All right, take two. And that's what it's supposed to look like, people. All right, guys, so effectively what we have is a wire coming through the ceiling and exiting right at the panel. It's not hooked up yet, but we'll get there. And then the other end of that wire is right here coming out next to the heater. So let's hook up the heater first, and then we'll worry about shutting down that panel and hooking up that wire. All right, so the unit is officially hardwired, and it actually looks really nice on the wall. So now let's hook up the other end of the wire to the panel so this thing actually has some juice and can make some heat. So you can see the wire coming down through the ceiling and landing right here. Now all we have to do is feed it down into the panel, hook it up to a 30 amp breaker, and then plug the thing into the panel and hit play. Now, if you're not comfortable with the panel, you should definitely leave this part to an electrician or Marv from Home Alone. All right, guys, we are all hardwired in that panel, and that wire is running all the way around over there to that heater. So the last thing to do is to flip our breaker. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's the worst thing that can happen when we flip this switch. Just sort of seems like there's a lot of potential bad things that can happen when you hit that switch. So we're gonna step aside, and on the count of 3, I'm gonna flip that breaker and see if we can heat this garage. All right, on the count of 3, 1, 2. All right, guys, we have the red light on the box, which means we have power to the unit, and it's time to test this thing out. So it's about 49 degrees in our workshop, and this is a 400 square foot garage. Now that's a 5,000 watt unit, so let's crank it all the way up. I'll put you guys across the room on time lapse next to the thermometer and see how warm we can get this garage. So guys, you see it was about 63 degrees in here only after like 20 minutes of that thing running. Now I got a little impatient with the footage and I just started to edit it on the computer, and I never turned off that heater. So 30 minutes later I came back out and checked this out. It was 71 degrees. Now that's with the thermometer pretty low in the room. If I put this thing way up about a foot from the ceiling, you can see the peak temperature right there hit 90 degrees. So there's quite the difference between the ceiling and the floor, which is a little unfortunate because I can feel just at head height, it's about 70 degrees. But if we get low, it's still pretty cold down here. But regardless, I definitely recommend you pick up that heater right there and install it in your garage. Guys, I hope you learned a lot about how to install a heater in your garage today. If you didn't, that's kind of weird because this whole video was all about how to do that. Guys, if you want to see more videos like what you saw today and make your garage a really cool, or in this case, a warm place, be sure to subscribe to Ed Gasket and check out some other builds taking place in the garage. Be sure to hit that like button before you go. I'm not sure exactly what that does, but apparently it does good things for the channel. Otherwise, guys, if you need us between now and that next video, we'll be in the garage.